Babe, guess what? It's just gone. No, it's nearly 10:15. It's Sunday, and that could only mean one thing. It's weekly news review and opinion roundup. Basically, it's where I look at the news for the last week and see what has occurred. Now, I'll be honest with you, this week it's all been about a certain election, a general election, just watching where the cat is, and the rest of the news has kind of been pushed to one side, and it just disappeared like my arm. But it doesn't matter, because there is still news to be had. I obviously do the election programme on a Monday. Hey Alan, so I do that one, but this one is just a general news, but obviously we will talk about the general election as well. Tomorrow though, in the election roundup, I'm going to put my manifesto forward. So if I was an independent and I was going for government, it would have to be a presidential thing, obviously. Then I would I will put my case forward tomorrow. It's a work in progress. It's in my head, just not put it on any paper or anything else. So yeah, we're going to see. And obviously I will be a dictator. I think it's fair to say that my opinions will not please everybody, but the thing about my opinions are, I don't really care. It's what's best for the country, and you cannot please all the people all the time. And most of the parties at the moment don't seem like they want to please anyone any of the time. Unless, of course, you're a minority within a minority, in which case, oh, well, we want your vote. Whoa. I kind of hope Reform do well, even though I don't like them, just to cup the Tories and the Labour Party, just to think, oh, hang on a minute. Yeah, maybe people are ready for something a bit different now. So, yeah, shall we crack on? Now, I normally do the main news of the week, but like I said, the main news of the week is politics. So, I dream frequency. So what I'm going to do is just go straight to the week's news, because there's no news that's newsy. I'm a bit big there we go. So I'm going to go just straight to the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and see how we get on. So, Monday, the 10th of June, and Rishi again apologised, unreservedly this time, so he must have meant it. Hi Angela, about his premature exit from the D-Day events that were being held in Normandy and surrounding areas in France. So Ed Davey launches the Lib Dems manifesto. Free home care for everyone, which I must admit would earn me a vote at the minute, because my mother's home care, she gets 4 carers a day, and in a month it costs over £1,700, which is a lot of money, and she has to pay that, which means that there's not a lot left for things like, bills and food and stuff. Thankfully she doesn't eat a lot, so it's not too bad, but I mean the food bill a week is still around about £100, because she's celiac, so we have to buy all the expensive non-gluten stuff. So free home care, yeah, I can do that. That's another thing I'm going to do as well. I'm going to actually do a thing where I go the best policy that I think on a certain thing. So that's where we're going tomorrow with the election show. I've not been in, I'm not getting notification, I'm playing to YouTube, so it's in the hands now. I tried unsubbing and resubbing, but nothing worked. Hi Alan, oh, you're the one who unsubbed, are you? Anyway, so Keir says extra money, extra what? Thingy places by removing VAT. It's the, other stuff that he does. Because he's going to use this 20%. You remember, for a year now, not longer, when we're talking about Keir Starmer and Sir Keir Starmer, and we're going to do this, going to do that, we're going to use the non-DOMS money, we're going to use the tax on the energy companies, now his new one is we're going to use the VAT on private schools. in order to put nurseries everywhere. And you're like, you've spent that about 4 times. Like I've said before many times, when your nan says to you, I'm going to give you £10 for Christmas, you're all excited and you think, oh, I can buy that t-shirt, I can get that game, I can go to the cinema now, not that anyone does, I can do this, that and the other. And you've spent that 10 quid, you've spent about 20 times, and when you get it, eventually you just spend it on sweets and shit. And yeah, I think that's where Keir Starmer's going. If Labour get in, I'll give them 18 months before Keir Starmer's gone, and 3 years before there has to be a general election because of vote of no confidence. Voting reform. Reform UK, you should be watching the... if Labour get in, I'm getting out. Right, so we've got Angela, Dream and Alan currently chatting. Feel free to join in the chat. You can agree, disagree, I don't care. As long as you talk about it and think about it, that's what it's all about. So yeah, Reform UK are a party that Nigel Farage is currently the head of, having took over it last week, as covered in this week's news last week, and also in the election broadcasts that I do, that are available as a podcast. Because there's not much to watch really on these things, it's more audio than visual. I don't know anything about politics. Oh, don't worry about it, Angela. I don't think Keir Starmer and Rishi Sunak do either, so you're in good company. On a more serious note, initial post-mortem on the Michael Mosley, Dr. Michael Mosley, disappeared and then his body was found on a Greek island, say natural causes were the reason for the death, which for me is good. Anyone dying is bad, but I did have a bad feeling about it, that he might have been mugged or something, but no, if it's natural causes, then at least it was natural. I know it's still horrible and people died and all that kind of thing, but you know. Politics is the reason I became friends with me, not gaming like most. 3 have died in a week there. Yeah, I mean, the temperatures have been up to 50 degrees centigrade, and that's the air temperature. Your washing machine, people scoff at you if you have your washing machine on 40 degrees centigrade to wash your clothes. I mean, we couldn't even imagine that heat. You know, 30 degrees, 32, 33 degrees. You know, it's unbearable. But you go in, you're adding a third again to that. So yeah, cooking with... yeah, well, to be fair, I haven't cooked in my oven for a very long while since I got the air fryer. In fact, that's the reason why I'm late. Nothing to do with a load of blokes kicking a bag of air around. No, I've been cooking my tea and it took a bit longer than I thought. Apologies. Anyway, 2 12-year-olds are convicted of murder of a 19-year-old. These 12-year-olds used machetes. What is the world coming to? French Parliament election. It's the parliamentary election, not the presidential election. This is where it gets complicated. It's years earlier than it should have been, and the reason for it is because, as I think I may have mentioned last week, and I certainly mentioned on the politics programme, that the far right have done very, very well in Europe, which I've seen coming for quite a while now, which is one reason why I voted Brexit back in 2016. Yes, I'm like a Nostradamus. Nostradamus was... Oh, Nostradamus. Nostradamus. But more of Nostradamus later, where I can read it. So yeah, basically we are out of Europe. Well, I mean, the European Union. We're still in Europe because obviously we can't physically move the country. Although, have I got news for you to try that with the one of their older intros. Everyone is far right if you don't agree with them. Except for Jeremy Corbyn, who's far left. It's that old joke I do, isn't it, when I'm driving up through Welly and I say the Spa is on the left, like Jeremy Corbyn, every time I go past. Cause, yeah. So maybe we should do the garage. The garage is on the right, like Nigel Farage. Anyway, we're digressing. Yeah, we've left. We can now say to France, if you leave the European Union, we will do free trade with you. We can even do, if people are that arsed about it, we can even do free travel between the two countries like we did before. As soon as Italy see that, they'll be next to leave, because they're the next ones who've got the next biggest far right. Holland have also got big far right as well, so they might leave, and then all of a sudden there's four of us. Germany like, well, we're getting left out here, we're basically now supporting all the other people, so we'll leave, and then all of a sudden there's five, and then before you know it, we're back to the eight again, but this time we don't make the mistake of letting in Poland and Lithuania and all them other countries. They can all go and rot as far as I'm concerned, because they brought the whole thing down. Mainly Greece. Anyway, Tuesday the 11th of June, the Conservative Manifesto is released. National insurance is going to get a 2p cut. They want to get rid of national insurance tax completely. New help to buy for first time buyers. Stamp duty is going up to houses of at least £425,000, so anything lower than £425 you don't pay stamp duty on, which will be great news for Angela Lorraine if she can backdate it. A 28-year-old man was arrested after throwing items at Nigel Farage. Now, I've said this before, I said it particularly on the political programme, but I did say it, I think, in passing, or it happened already, I don't know. Because a woman threw a milkshake over Nigel Farage, and I said it doesn't matter whether you agree with people's politics, or disagree with politics, or like them or not like them, you do not assault them. I mean, thankfully it was only a milkshake, thankfully it was only a bit of gravel in an empty coffee cup that was thrown at it, which didn't hit him anyway. Now, I don't agree with Nigel Farage on a lot of things, and I agree with Nigel Farage on a few things. But any person who puts their head up over the parapet and jumps down, like I've done with the leaflet, they deserve being patted on the back. And if you don't like them, well, that's what the ballot box is there for. You don't vote for them, you vote for someone else. You vote for either who you think can do a better job, or who you think can beat them, so they don't get in. You do not throw things, and you do not assault people. As I said in the paper this week, I was writing the local newspaper, you know, we had 2 murders of MPs in the last 8 years. And that's not on. You don't do that. If you disagree with someone's political beliefs, you don't murder them, you don't attack them, you don't assault them. When the election comes, you vote them out. That's democracy. Otherwise, we're going down the route of anarchy, and that is not somewhere we ever want to go. Although I do fear that is where we're going anyway. Labour say they're going to make more appointments for dentists, particularly for children, because children's teeth are crap because they ate too many sweets. Talking of which, we've got a brand new candy floss machine in the Grand Arcade, which is amazing. It does like candy floss in the shape of flowers and stuff like that. It's an actual machine. You put your money in, you press a button, and it's this candy floss. It's brilliant. I did a short on it on TikTok and on YouTube as well. So if you get a chance, have a look at that. It's amazing. I can't have it though, because I'm pretty sure if I had that, I'd have a cardiac arrest or something stupid. I like Farage, says Dream Frequency. He speaks good and down to earth. Everyone is far right. If you don't agree with them, this is the Labour manifesto, says Dream Frequency as well. Alan Barton says, I like Farage. I like Minaj, Nicki Minaj, but I won't vote for her. I don't actually like Nicki. I couldn't even name a song she did. Neither could I with Taylor Swift either. I'm so old. Anyway, Hunter Biden, the son of, well, sadly, that poor man who's been abused by God knows who, and being kept as a president of the United States of America, where he should be nicely tucked up in a care home with 24-hour round-the-care help, round-the-clock help even. It's just frightening what the Americans are, you know, you've basically got a dead man walking, and you've got Donald Trump, a convicted criminal, running for president, and no one in America seems to think that's a problem. Maybe that's a problem with America. Who knows? Anyway, more of them later. Hunter Biden, his son, the one that didn't die, I don't know if he's ever mentioned it or not, but one of his sons sadly passed away from cancer, is guilty about lying when buying a gun. apparently he went into somewhere. You have to fill a form in now to say that you're not, unstable. I mean, anyone stable would not say I'm unstable. No, they would say I'm unstable, but anyone unstable would also say I'm unstable. Doesn't really work, does it? And he neglected to mention he was addicted to crack cocaine, and at the time he had to have it every 15 minutes. So he had to get in there and out again in 15 minutes so he could have a shot. Follow Trump's trail, they stitched him up. Well, they did stitch him up, but he left it wide open, didn't he? I mean, he's not a good man. Does this affect Biden in presidency? No, I don't think it... Well, come on. It was his son who was convicted of a crime, whereas Trump was actually convicted of the crime and it's not affected him. Where have we got in politics? I mean, really. Say, my manifesto coming out later on tonight. I'm going to need a few more Guinness. It does frighten me. It does frighten me a lot. What is going on with the choices we have, and how have these people ended up being the only choices we've got? Again, who is controlling it? Who is higher up? Is it the Rothschilds? Is it the blob, as some people call it? There is someone out there above politics that are basically absolutely king up the country, the world even, not the country, diluting populations in countries by mass immigration, 90% of which is completely pointless. It's just being done because someone wants it done, to dilute the national identity of various countries, America, UK, Europe in general, and other countries. Even Australia has had an emergency debate about migration. There is someone pulling strings that we cannot get to. So if I mysteriously disappear, then that might be it. Sorry. David Icke does some good speaking on stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, David Icke was a weatherman. So, yeah, I don't listen to him, I'll be honest. I do have a guy who comes in the shop and he talks about Icke quite a bit. Something to do with the park or something, I don't know. Anyway, Wednesday saw the second debate between Rishi and Keir. The latter saying he backed Jeremy because he knew he would lose. Now this was a weird thing that Keir Starmer come up with. He said that he backed Jeremy Corbyn because when pushed, basically he knew that Jeremy Corbyn wouldn't get in. So that's why he backed him. And you're like, and this is the man we want to trust running the country? Someone who basically backs a loser and knows they're a loser but still backs them anyway. And then kicks him out of the party, the person he backed. Keir Starmer, to me, is a much bigger danger than Rishi Sunak. And Rishi Sunak is dangerous. Where do we go? Don't say Farage. Do not say Farage. Because, I mean, we've got danger, dangerous and dangerous. But, yeah, Keir Starmer is so terrifying. I mean, 100% I would vote for Rishi Sunak, just in the vain hope that Keir Starmer doesn't get in. Now, if they had Wes Streeting as the leader, I quite like Wes Streeting. Okay, he toes the party line and all that kind of stuff. But he does seem to be a genuine guy. He does seem to be someone who is, well, he's kind of come up from the ranks within. I mean, Angela Rayner, yeah, I mean, I've referred to her many times as a fisherman's housewife. Not that there's anything wrong with being a fisherman's housewife, not that there's any fishermen left after the European Union screwed up our fishing industry. Hashtag just saying. I'm going to change over to my tablet. Okay, no worries. I don't know what she's watching on prior. Anyway, Thursday. I know, not much on Wednesday, but don't worry about it. 13th. Thank God it wasn't Friday the 13th. We've got enough crap going on, haven't we? Labour manifesto is released. And it's been described by pundits as steady as she goes. There's no raise in personal tax or VAT other than the private schools, and they want growth in our core business. Now, our core business, I would have thought, is small businesses. Not necessarily my small business, but small businesses, manufacturing and technological and that kind of thing. They're the kind of businesses that need growth, and they're the ones that need support, and hospitality as well. So business rates, get rid of them. All businesses under 10,000 square feet, scrap them completely. Businesses like Amazon, who do not pay any tax, well, they pay business rates now, a new tax. So they've got a building that's 1 million square metres. They only pay for 1 million square metres, but they have 20 floors of that 1 million square metres of pallets or whatever. They pay for every single floor the same rate as they pay for that one on the ground, and they start paying their fair share, which levels the playing field. So little businesses like myself and little independent shops, and even your equivalent of Wilco's and all that who've gone bust, business rates have got a lot to do with that. And yeah, we need to level the playing field. Whether they're going to do it or not, I don't know, but that might be one of my manifesto pledges. Sorry. Conservative Craig Williams says he made a huge error in judgment. This is a guy who regularly sat behind Rishi Sunak at Prime Minister's Question Time. You may have seen his tie and his hands and his knees and maybe a bit of paper, and oddly, every now and then his head, on his shoulders, just to clarify. He was quite close to Rishi. And it turns out he placed a bet on the rough date of the grand general election 3 days before it was announced. This is the quality of people we've got in the Houses of Parliament. For a start, you get one of your friends to do it. Secondly, you wouldn't do it at all, let's be honest, because you're only enough your money. What's a couple of grand if it happens? But he's the MP of Welshpool, so that probably says enough. Or he was anyway, because no one's MPs at the minute. Hi John Higginbotham, hope you're good. Hope Stockport is well. Although apparently it's not. Something on somewhere I saw about Stockport not doing as good as it could do. The G7 summit, $50 billion of aid, or no, loan to Ukraine. A reminder to Putin, we are not backing down, says Biden, when he was wound up. I don't mean wound up as in made angry, I mean wound up as in, they turned the key on the back or just replaced his batteries. I don't know. Friday the 14th, Princess of Wales says she will join in the Trooping of the Colour, and she's making good progress for her preventative cancer treatment. Because remember, she's not been diagnosed with cancer, she's been diagnosed of possibly having cancer, so she's having preventative cancer treatment. But she's making good progress, and she has good days and bad days. Now, thank God I don't know anyone who's actually gone through chemotherapy or anything like that. Certainly no one close to me. But good days and bad days does seem to be, when you watch documentaries and all that kind of thing, what happens with people who are being treated, because it is a very, very aggressive treatment that they get, even if it's preventative. Treatment is ongoing and will be for months, she said. And then, shock, horror, gasp, Angela, I hope you're back for this one. One opinion poll, puts Reform ahead of the Conservatives. It's the first time in 5 years, no, maybe 10 years, since anyone has been ahead of the Tories apart from Labour. Although, to be fair, they weren't previously either. So yeah, anyone ahead of the Tories. Although Labour have been ahead of the Tories for quite a while. So yeah, scrap that. Either way, Farage says he's going to be the opposition. He knows he's not going to be Prime Minister. He reckons he'll do that in 5 years' time. But he's going to be the opposition against Labour which means the Tories, and then shoved next to the Lib Dems, just behind the SNP, assuming the SNP actually do survive. Hi, Stephen LFC, Stephen Kelly, and Rollo. Rollo? Rollo? It's a dog. It's not like a child or a packet of sweets I'm talking to. That would be weird. But yeah, we will wait and see what actually transpires on the 4th of July. E. coli outbreak. It turns out it's sandwiches that have been doing this outbreak of E. coli around the country, and they've been recalled. Over 100 people have been hospitalised, and over 200 people have been made very ill from these sandwiches. Now, it was the lettuce, apparently. Now, I've been a good boy recently, and I've been having sandwiches from Boots on Meal Deal. The main reason for that is I haven't got time to shut my shop and go any further than Boots, which is about 7 or 8 shops down from where I am. So I've been eating a lot of sandwiches, and my favourite sandwiches is the egg BLT. No, the egg, what's it called? The triple sandwich thing. Egg and ham thing. You know, where you get 3 slices of bread. So you get 3 slices of bread with 2 sandwiches. Club. It's yeah, we've had a lettuce, egg, and ham and stuff, and everyone's barking at Rollo now. And I was like, and then I went into Boots on Saturday and today, and I can't buy my favourite sandwich. Nor can I buy a BLT, bacon, lettuce and tomato. Boots have also withdrawn them, although they were not mentioned in the initial sandwich withdrawal statements. Now, we all know that things like sandwiches and those pre-packed salads and wraps and other stuff generally are made in the same place, using similar ingredients. Might not all be the same ingredients, but certainly similar ingredients. And then they're shipped out to your Tesco's, your Asda's, your Poundlands, your Boots, your garages for the meal deals and all that kind of thing. So yeah, slightly worrying, but the good news is I've not had the shits, so thumbs up from me. What's my favourite sandwich? Oh, we're getting very deep now, aren't we? I do like a hot dog, particularly a sausage dog. No, I'm joking, obviously. Sorry, Rollo, no offence meant. Favourite sandwich? The one I have the most is the Egg and Ham Club, but that's mainly because it's the most expensive one, therefore it makes more sense for a meal deal to have a sandwich that's a dairy sandwich. If they were all the same price, I would probably go for a BLT, still got bacon in it, or I'd go for a bacon and chicken, which is what I've had today and yesterday, bacon and chicken. Because I like bacon and I like chicken. So yeah, you can't have a chip butty from Tesco on Meal Deal. Although I do go to the chippy at least twice a week. Usually on a Friday if I think I'm going out that night, and usually on a Tuesday because I'm going out because I go to my mum's. Cheese and onion, no, can't do cheese. Can't do cheese. Lactose. Poop. Still on Friday, Putin says he will stop the war if Ukraine give up the 4 regions that he's already got, which is in the east of the country, and abandon the wish to join NATO. So, what he's banking on is that Vladimir Zelensky is not stupid. Now, he's not the brightest, but he's not stupid. And he knows that Crimea was taken by Russia, and the then president of Ukraine did nothing about it. And then Russia came back and thought, well, we can have some more now. So they went for Donetsk region and all that kind of stuff, which they've got parts of. Now they want to claim all that. So if Zelensky says, yeah, okay, you can have that, we'll stop the war, everyone's happy. Then in a couple of years' time, what's to stop Putin or whoever follows him thinking, well, we've done Crimea, like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, whatever. We did Donetsk region and all the other regions 5 years ago, so let's go for some more and just keep nibbling away at Ukraine. Now, Ukraine is huge. Let's be honest, you could lose the United Kingdom in Ukraine without even thinking about it. But yeah, you've got to be realistic, and Putin cannot be allowed to gain any ground. Ham salad. See, I'm more ham salad than cheese and onion. We've gone back to sandwiches. Just wondering what the hell I'm on about, Kelly. Hiya. More barking as well. Woof woof. How many woof woofs have we got? We've got woof woof, woof woof, woof woof, and then woof woof. So, and I did as well, which normally sounds dogs wild. Saturday the 15th, the Princess of Wales does go to the Trooping of the Colour, and she looks very resplendent in a jauntily placed hat in black and white, because they haven't invented colour, and a nice black and white suit, and all the family were there as well, the 3 kids and Prince William, and everyone was happy. It was a wonderful day apparently, although I was working so I didn't see any of it other than pictures, which you'll see later on. He's one top dog, not a hot dog, although when it gets warm later on he will be a hot dog. 8 IDF soldiers were killed by rockets, and they were in an armoured vehicle in Rafah, but a minor victory there for Hamas. Not that I support Hamas in any way, shape or form, but I do not support the IDF in any way, shape or form either, for the 37,000 people they have killed in order to kill a couple of thousand of the Hamas troops, which obviously they haven't killed because they're still being attacked by Hamas, even though they've pretty much destroyed the entire country. You look at the videos today, on the news today, where they are, is celebrate the right word? But they're having Eid, and they're doing all the prayers, and literally they are in a demolition site. It looks like Wigan. It's just awful what the regular people of Gaza have been put through, and for Netanyahu to come out and say, well, everyone who lives in Gaza is basically supports Hamas, is nonsense. You're telling me that everyone in Russia supports Putin? No. If they dare say anything against Putin, they disappear, and they mysteriously end up in prison. Oh, they never reappear again. And if they're in prison, they mysteriously die of natural causes, like the opposition leader a few months ago. No, I feel for everyone in Gaza apart from Hamas, who I think are scum of the earth. IDF, not far behind. There's a peace summit that starts yesterday after the G7, and it's about Ukraine and trying to get peace in Ukraine. And then, if you've seen the footage of this, it's awful. The police, all the reports are saying use a car to run over a cow, well, a calf. It's a big calf, don't get me wrong, it's not like a one that was born about 4 hours earlier. You know, it's a sizable animal. And they hit it with a police 4x4's not doing it justice. It's a ute, it's a big golf vehicle. Knock it rolling down the street, it tries to stand up again, and they run it over again. And cleverly, who is the Justice Minister, even though he's not an MP, but they still have all the parts that they have, because obviously Parliament's been dissolved, is demanding answers as to why a police vehicle was used to hit an animal twice. Now, yes, if a cow runs into you, you are going to know about it, but there are ways of dealing with these things, and hitting it with a massive I mean, it might as well have used a riot van, I'll be honest with you. And the second time they hit it, its head went under the wheel, and you're like, oh, it's dead. But no, thankfully I've seen footage of it actually getting out and being cornered. It was in was it Bristol or something like that? If you go on to the Talk TV Twitter feeds, or James Whale MBE Twitter feed, you'll see the video there. It is shocking. I mean, obviously the bull is terrified. No, it's not even a bull, it's a cow. But it's a calf, it's not even a fully grown one. It's terrified, it's in this weird environment, there's noise and all this kind of stuff. So it's panicking, as it would do. And it's running around, and there's a man running away from it, round a car. He doesn't seem to be any imminent danger, and the police just mow this animal down. Twice. I mean, it's a bit like, one of the reasons I don't watch horror films is, have you ever seen Jeepers Creepers? There's a bit where the brother and sister, or whatever they are, they run over the creature. I'd say probably about halfway through the film. And it's there on the floor, and the car's spun round for some reason. And then they're going, it's not steering wheel. And I'm like, run it over again. And I'm like, just run it over again. And then it starts moving. I'm like, right, you really need to run it over again. And they're like, and the girl's next to him going, like, run it over again. And then it starts standing up. Right, you really need to run it over. You really, really, really need to run it over. Then it's fully stood up. Right, you probably left it too late. You need to run it over. Then its wings come out the back. And you're like, okay, you're dead. But this was not a beast or the devil or anything like that. It was a calf that was terrified. And he got run over twice. I mean, in America, to be fair, they'd have probably shot it. The calf is actually recovering. Was a cow hit purposely? Yes, twice. Twice. Not once, twice. Even the people on the street were shocked at it. At what happened. It was awful. Awful. But yes, it was not good. Not good at all. Anyway, the police officer today, because we're now on Sunday, ironically, has been suspended from front-line duties, which means he's not been suspended, or they've not been suspended. They are stuck in an office somewhere checking that someone's not insulted someone by calling someone fat or ugly or old or whatever. Right, next up, Sunday the 16th. Wes Streeting says Labour hope to spend more money on the NHS, but they can only do this if the economic environment of the UK allows it, i.e. they want economy to grow, but the stuff they're coming up with isn't going to grow the economy. The Nuffield Trust, which is a health organisation, says the NHS will have more cuts and restrictions on it, and it's going to be worse than in the last 14 years, which is a nod to the restrictions and the money cutting and everything the Tories did when they took over from Labour, when Labour bankrupted the country and left the note. But yes, it's all going to go horribly wrong. My manifesto, basically halve the number of managers in hospitals, get rid of them. Get rid of all the bonuses that managers in hospitals get rid of them. That money can then be spent on doctors and nurses and improving GP services. Costs nothing. I thank you. Israel says it will halt action in Gaza between 8 AM and 7 PM, but not in Rafah. But this is to allow in some humanitarian aid along the one road that they say is safe. I'll be honest with you, I do not trust the IDF as far as I can gob. And as you get older, that's not as far as it used to be. I was going to say some other bodily function, but we'll go gob. Which brings us to the news, as reported from all over the world. Everybody got the word all over the world. Everybody got the word. To be here, you see. Yeah, it's not really all over the world. It's more what's gone on in America and Australia, what they've reported has gone on around the world. And there's quite a bit to get through this week, so we will go through the, where are we, World News, and 16th of the 6th, and we will click on that one. Now, Australia is our first little group of stuff that we're going to do, and Australia are basically asking the question, where have all the eggs gone? Where have all the eggs gone? Far, far away. Because egg suppliers say they are facing the worst shortages they've seen in more than 20 years after a bird flu strain outbreak prompted chicken culls. Supermarket giant Coles has imposed a limit of 2 cartons per customer in all stores except in Western Australia. So there are egg shortages due to bird flu in Australia, mate. Now, how the hell has bird flu got to Australia? Bearing in mind that, can birds fly from other mainland countries to Australia in one go? Or are they being transported there by ships or whatever? It's very weird. Oh look, drinking water warning. Australians have been warned to use water filters after drinking water in parts of the country was found to contain carcinogenic chemicals, i.e. drink tap water, get cancer. The contaminants were reportedly found in tap water in every state and territory. So over here it's sewage, over there, and bacteria, but over there it's carcinogenic chemicals. Researchers find that elephants call each other unique names. Tosser, pleb, that kind of thing. African elephants call each other by unique individual names according to a new study. No doubt it's experts. It's something few wild animals do, but scientists believe animals with complex social structures that move away and later reunite are more likely to use individual names through low rumbles. Or maybe they've just got bellyache from the diet they have of eating leaves and branches. Meanwhile, King Charles was desecrated. King Charles' portrait was vandalised. King Charles' first official portrait has been vandalised by an animal rights group currently on display at the London Gallery. The painting was covered with a cartoon character from the British, because it's Australian, let's remember, comedy series Wallace and Gromit. Good news if you're a fan, they're making a new one as we speak. Well, not as we speak, they're doing it on a Sunday at 11 o'clock. But they are making one currently, well not currently, but you know, during the weeks probably around this. Using a paint roller to stick signs over the portraits. Demonstrators also added a speech bubble reading, "No cheese Gromit, look at all this cruelty on RSPCA." So completely logical thing. I mean, all these people do is just make their cars look completely pathetic, in my opinion. Top Aussie baby names revealed. Australians' top baby names have been revealed for this year, with one boy's name dominating the ranks for the 11th year in a row. The name Oliver has maintained the #1 spot, while Isla has been declared the top name for baby girls for the 2nd time. So you're like, we did this in Britain, and Mohammed was very high. Where is it here? Oh, well, the answer is Australia. No, it's not there at all. So in first place, although it's at the bottom, you've got Oliver, then you've got Noah, you've got Henry, Leo, Theodore, Hudson, Luca. Hello, my name is Luca. I live on the 2nd floor. I live not very far from you. I guess I think you've seen me before. That one. She's back. Angela's back. William, Charlie and Jack round out the top 10. Girls' names: Isla, Amelia, Charlotte, Olivia, Maya, Ava, Matilda, Waltzing Matilda, Harper, Lily and Hazel. Hazel. Wow, that's the word. My best friend, the blonde-haired kid who sang around because he got all the girls, his mum was called Hazel. I called her Auntie Hazel. No, we weren't related, but you do that, don't you, when you're a kid? And his dad was called Tony, so he was Uncle Tony. Australia's fastest lift at Surfers Paradise. Australia's fastest elevator will become even quicker with upgrades unveiled today by SkyPoint in Surfers Paradise. The lift will now take just 38 seconds and will include immersive screens. So if you're inside it, I can imagine people get motion sickness if you've got the motion of being whizzed up really high or whizzed down really high, and then an image all around you because it's a lift. It's not one of these glass lifts that you can see outside. It's inside the building with an image that isn't maybe going at the same speed. It would keep you. It would make you go meh, like that. Aussie workers do more unpaid overtime compared to other countries. I think I beat you. I mean, I don't even pay myself for what I work, and then I work until 8-9 o'clock at night on a few times a week. So I win. I beat the entire Australia people. Aussie workers are working more unpaid overtime than almost any other OECD nation. The survey run by the union's New South Wales found out Aussies are working 21,500 Australian dollars worth of unpaid labour. So 21.5 Australian dollars translates to £6.20. On average, they're working 9 hours of extra work each week, equating to more than 11 weeks unpaid for their employer a year. Deno is back again. He's around. I've not had a proper chat with him yet. He's only popped up every now and then and said hello in comments rather than live streams. I think he was in a gaming live stream a couple of weeks ago. So he is still with us. He's still around. So if you're watching, Deno, hi, hope you're good. And also as well, T, hope you're good as well. Social media age increase. Should the minimum age to access social media be lifted to 16? This is in Australia. The majority of platforms, the major platforms, currently have a minimum age limit of 13. But everyone knows people who've got kids under 13 that are on social media. But there are increasing calls for the federal government to implement further restrictions to improve online safety for children, which I 100% agree with. Opposition leader Peter Dutton says the coalition would implement the increase within the first 100 days if elected. I don't know how you would manage it, but it is a good idea. And they're on about that over here as well, particularly after the merger of the transgender earlier on this year, which was sparked by social media, plus all the suicides, I imagine, around the world that children do. Remember, we have the 10-year-old young boy who committed suicide a week or two ago because of bullying, and a lot of that would have been online. 18, yes, I agree, Angela, but I think it's fair to say 16 would be a start. And, you know, we all know, like I said, we all know kids under 13 who have social media. It's how you police it. You know, I have parents coming into my shop buying games for children who are obviously not 18, and you're like, you know, this game is not suitable for your child. And they're like, well, no, my child is sensible, I'll buy it anyway. And you can't not sell it to them because they are of age and they're allowed to buy it. It's just, yeah, parents have got to have more responsibility over the children as well. So rather than making it mandatory, maybe make it very recommended. Cancer stricken, that's a slight overstatement, but we'll go with it. This is America, by the way. King Charles aware time is ticking on his reign, says an expert. Well, there you go then. I think it's mainly ticking because he's 75 years old. He's not going to beat his mother's record. We've just got the notes in as well now for the King. I've had a few of them in. I did a little video on my vlog of the notes. Was it my vlog or was it something else? Was it Wigan Watch? Oh, I don't know. Of the new notes, and yeah, they are Going to be collector's items, I would have thought, sooner rather than later, sadly. He's aware, anyway, that the clock on his reign is ticking, according to a royal expert. The Monarch 75 has been undertaking more public-facing duties in recent weeks after initially taking a step back following his cancer diagnosis. With his outpatient treatment still in full swing, Charles is reportedly refusing to hit the brakes on his workload. He did do the Trooping of the Colour, but he was in a carriage rather than riding a horse. Now his mother, the Queen, I remember when she used to ride a horse, side saddle, being a lady, we ride side saddle, when I was younger, and then obviously that moved on and eventually to her being in a carriage as well. But King Charles, obviously with the treatment he's getting, he's got into the carriage sooner, but I think that's a decent thing to do. Suspended driver who went viral for attending a Zoom hearing from behind the wheel, he finally gets a learner permit. The Michigan driver who went viral after brazenly appearing behind the wheel during a Zoom court hearing, despite being busted on a suspended licence, has at long last gotten his learner's permit. Corey Harris, 44, took a step in the right direction to finally becoming a law-abiding citizen after passing his learner theory last week. So basically this guy was caught driving around with no licence, got told he had to appear in court, but to get through things quickly they do courts, if it's a minor charge, they do courts in Zoom so they can get through more hearings, I would assume. So he's doing his Zoom court appearance for not having a licence, being caught driving illegally, whilst driving his car. America is completely top, it's got to be said. Unbelievable. The final photos of famed TV Dr. Michael Mosley, mysteriously found dead, have been revealed. New photos have surfaced of TV presenter Dr. Michael Mosley walking along the beach with his wife, filming a TV show, which was due to be screened in September. The doctor and presenter was reported missing on June the 5th after going for a walk on the Greek island of Symi. A body was found in the search for the missing doctor on Sunday. So yeah, people have, obviously it's a celebrity, if you know who he is, he's a celebrity in the UK, and people took a picture of him, and the pictures have surfaced after his tragic passing. Prince Harry searching for a UK home as his friends are not visiting over rifts with Meghan Markle. Meghan Markle, as I said pretty much from day one, the Yoko Ono of the royal family. And Harry looks a bit chubby there as well in that picture, to be fair. I mean, here's me saying that, you know, flobberlocked. Prince Harry searching for UK property as his friends are refusing to visit him in the US over their rifts with Meghan Markle, according to a report. The Duke of Sussex, 39, is reportedly keen to have a London base he could keep returning to instead of checking into hotels, something he's been doing since last year after being evicted from Fromwell Cottage in June 2023. After basically writing that book and slagging off his entire family. His entire family said, well, why the hell should we let you live in a house that we're paying for? So they kicked him out. Former UK pop star Gary Glitter ordered to pay sex abuse victim $650,000 American dollars. Former British pop singer Gary Glitter was on Tuesday ordered to pay a woman he sexually abused as a child more than $637,000 in damages. The 80-year-old, whose real name is Paul Gadd, shot to fame in the 1970s as a glam rock star before he was later repeatedly convicted and jailed for child sex crimes. Gadd was sentenced to 16 years in prison in 2015 after being found guilty of indecently assaulting 3 girls. Basically, scum of the earth, but why is one person being given basically £500,000 where there are many other victims? Surely whatever money he's got should be shared out amongst all his victims. Republicans mock Biden after he appears to freeze at festive Juneteenth WH concert, saying lights on but no one's home. And I did watch this video and it is frightening. Republicans mocked President Biden on Monday after he remained virtually motionless for nearly a minute during a lively Juneteenth musical performance at the White House. The 81-year-old president's gaze was fixed on the stage as gospel singer Kirk Franklin performed his song Love Theory in front of the Commander-in-Chief and the Vice President. Yeah, it's getting to the stage now where it is beyond cruel to allow Biden to be in the position he's allowed to be in. As I said earlier on in this broadcast, he should be being given 24-hour care in a care home somewhere and just living out the rest of his days peacefully and respectfully. But that, I saw a clip of this video and he literally is completely just frozen. Nothing's moving on him at all. Doesn't blink, his mouth doesn't move, his head doesn't move, his arms don't move. He's literally frozen in a position, and you're like, this is the Commander-in-Chief, this is the guy who's got the button. This is, I mean, thankfully he probably wouldn't be able to press the button, but that's not really the point. Why can't the Democrats come up with someone who's actually, you know, able to do stuff like walk and talk? We're not asking a lot here. But no, he's still being allowed to stand, and that is, like I said before, that is cruel on him and the American people for that matter. 13 states will need increased electricity production to meet estimated 2040 demands. Really? Only 13? When you're electrifying the whole country for the complete waste of time that is electric cars. Yes, I will do an electric car hate video, but I will do it after the general election because I've got enough going on, I'll be honest with you. Well, demand for electricity is set to significantly increase by 2040. Planning is not in place to increase electricity production to meet those estimates. Yeah, basically what we need to do is start building nuclear power plants now. They take 10-15 years to build because you need to build them safely, but by then we can then phase out fossil fuels, and hopefully by then we will have fixed the expense of hydrogen, and we can scrap this nonsense that is electric cars. Have you seen Elon Musk's latest announcements? No, I haven't, Alan. Don't tell me he's going for hydrogen as well. Finally, the world is listening to me. I was a sole voice out there, apart from the next weatherman probably. I was saying about electric cars. I'll send it to you. Alright, okay. Top pollster suggests it may be time for Biden to drop out of 2024 presidential race as approval rating hits all-time low. Now, approval ratings hit an all-time low for the Tories and all that, but I think it'd be daft to change Rishi. But I think it would 100% be sensible to get rid of Biden before he gets rid of himself. It's just terrifying what is going on in America. Maine's oldest lobster woman just turned 104 and has no plans to leave her boat. She is still the boss. If she's 104 years old and she's on a little boat catching lobsters and I'm on that boat, I'll tell you, I ain't arguing with her, even if she's making the most stupid mistake ever, like we don't need a bigger boat to catch that shark. I'm with her. Yeah, no we don't, you're right, I'm not arguing with you. You are a woman who's not to be messed with. Right, someone sent me something. Elon Musk will stop making Tesla electrics. New fuel comes to America, the same who was stupidly the tycoon. Let me click on a link. Deny. Manage options. No one has legitimate interest to look at my stuff. So just bear with me. Anyway, yeah, this lobster woman, 104, and she still goes out lobstering. I mean, that's the kind of person, you know, an elderly person put her in charge of the country, put her in charge of the bloody planet. If she can run a lobster boat successfully and be 104, then she knows a lot about her, about life and stuff. So yeah, I'm 100% with her on that. No. Go. God, this is... No, why do you want to look at my photos on my phone? Not that there's anything worth looking at on my phone. Just lots of politics stuff and screenshots from things and stuff and things and stuff and things. No. No, I didn't click on that. Did I click on that? No, I did not click on that. So do not. Yeah. Oh, you want to look at my pictures? You want to look at my text messages, do you? Well, yeah, looking at my text messages. Dum-de-dum. Dum-de-dum. How long does this go on for? Quite a while. So those of you, just click accept all cookies. Don't. It's insane. It's all part of the control that's going on around the world. It's going for hydrogen. Well, there you go then. I told you. Wow, who's took some money out of me? Oh, Amazon Prime, okay. I thought someone took some money out of me because I'm clicking on these things. They've already raided my bank. Dum-de-dum-de-dum. Yeah. I mean, what has Basis Global Technologies got to do with me? What has Smadex got to do with me? What has Bombra got to do with me? Unbelievable. It says it's legitimate interest. It's not. Magnite CTV. Cookie duration 366 days. Wow. One Tag Limited. Smart Technology Limited. Improved Digital. Adobe Advertising Cloud. Bannerflow AB. Why isn't there just... There should be a decline all. Right, we're nearly halfway now. The car video's just been on Sky News. How dare you watch a fake news channel whilst I'm on air? What are you doing, Silence? Is something thud? Dum-de-dum-de-dum. I'm still clocking off these legitimate interest things. Dum-de-dum-de-dum. Dum-de-dum-de-dum. These roll off anyway. All this to find out what Elon Musk is going to come up with. Right, confirm choices. Ugh. Elon Musk has always been known for being an eccentric tycoon, an idea we have given several twists and turns that is increasingly taken on in America. We have just learned that he has said goodbye forever to Tesla Electrics. This is the new fuel he branded as stupidity and is now going to test, perhaps to overcome the very high competition from China and its BYD. Hydrogen is also opposed by many figures, including Elon Musk, the head of Tesla, the company that develops electronic cars. In TV interview said hydrogen was the dumb thing that I could imagine for energy storage. Nonetheless, now Tesla would plan to move to hydrogen power in 2026. This change of tune is particularly notable given that Musk has gone as far as to label hydrogen fuel cells as extremely silly. It's time to explain the specifics of Tesla's new hydrogen-related project and its possible ramifications. The above conclusion about hydrogen being inefficient for fuel can be explained by analysing Musk's statement, in which he claims that storing and using hydrogen is complicated. Yeah, but you don't actually store or run the hydrogen. That's the whole point. But yeah, there you go. So Elon Musk, you're welcome. You feel free to contact me anytime or watch my Why Electric Cars Are Stupid thing. I mean, nothing to bear in mind is I have this conversation on a regular basis. I do not stock PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5 joysticks in my shop because I don't do second hand, and the reason people generally get rid of them is because the electric batteries that are rechargeable and built in them are rubbish. Why the hell would you buy a second hand car that's electric? Ironically, this is weird, Elon Musk warns his companies would ban Apple devices after OpenAI deal, unacceptable security violation. Billionaire Elon Musk said he would ban Apple devices at his companies if the iPhone maker integrates OpenAI at the operating system level. That is an unacceptable security violation. Musk, who is the CEO of electronic vehicle maker Tesla and rocket maker SpaceX and the owner of social media company X, said on a post on X. All visitors will have to check their Apple phones in when visiting sites and factories. So yeah, Elon Musk is waking up. A wannabe arsonist sets himself on fire as he tries to torch ex-girlfriend's house. A bumbling wannabe arsonist in New Mexico mistakenly set himself on fire when he tried to torch his ex-girlfriend's house. He fled the scene covered in flames, and you know what? Yeah, I hope he suffers. Just despicable behaviour. Courtney Cox recreates dance from Bruce Springsteen's Dancing in the Dark 1984 music video. She's still got it, apparently. Courtney Cox recreated her dance moves from the 1984 music video Bruce Springsteen's hit song Dancing in the Dark. Cox, now 59, did the impromptu performance for a new TikTok trend and shared the clip of it on social media on Sunday. Courtney Cox in a TikTok, Courtney Cox Instagram, Courtney Cox reveals a Bruce Springsteen concert. Yeah, I mean, she was basically put in the audience to do the dance, and then she recreated it 40 years later. It won't work. What won't work? Buying electric cars at second hand? No, you're right. Absolutely not. Pope Francis repeats gay slur just weeks after apologising for using it. She'll make a cox of it. Pope Francis repeated a homophobic slur just weeks after he was forced to apologise for using it while suggesting gay men shouldn't be ordained priests, according to reports. The Pope is accused of saying there is an air of fraudulence in the Vatican, a disparaging Italian term roughly translated as Ignis, during a closed-door meeting with roughly 200 priests. Yeah, the problem is the elderly, no matter whom they are set in their ways, and you cannot change their ways. I think we've gone way too far the other way, but yeah, you cannot say things like that nowadays, and it is despicable, but they won't change. My mother, who's 89, when she's visited by the doctor, refers to them as one of those, and then I have to figure out which one of those does she mean. Does she mean LGBT community, or does she mean not of English heritage? I have no idea half the time, so I just kind of go with it. Oh no, just say, alright, okay, that's nice. Crystal Hefner sends cease and desist notice to Holly Madison over malicious Hugh Hefner remarks. Crystal Hefner has slapped Holly Madison with a cease and desist notice over malicious comments she made about her late husband and Playboy founder Hugh Hefner. In a court documents obtained by TMZ, Crystal, who was married to the Playboy magazine publisher from 2012 to his death in 2017, said Madison, 44, caused her serious harm. The 38-year-old, she's 38-year-old now, Hugh Hefner lived in another time and another era, and he was probably not a very nice person, but he's dead, and you can't really do anything about it once they're dead. Israel deserves praise, not blame, for its righteous rescue of Hamas hostages. Sorry? Israel pulled off a hostage rescue that deserves to go down in the annals of extraordinary, daring, highly successful military operations, yet is being condemned for it. Yes, because they killed hundreds of innocent people doing it. The Secretary General of the Gulf Cooperation Council denounced the heinous and terrorist crime that targeted defenceless innocents with brutality. Because it is brutal. They've got the technology to go in there and target. They could shoot someone in their left eyeball. They've got that technology about them, but instead they're carpet bombing the whole of Gaza. It is ridiculous what Israel has been allowed to get away with. Although technically isn't. There is a warrant out for his arrest now, isn't there, from the European Court of Human Rights, or the Human Rights, World Human Rights Court, or whatever it is. Sandy Hook shooting survivors set to graduate with mixed feelings. A whole chunk of our class is missing. Sandy Hook shooting survivors are set to graduate. I mean, this is how terrifying time is. Knowing that 20 of their slain classmates won't be walking across the stage with them. About 60 of the 330 graduating seniors from the Connecticut High School were in Sandy Hook Elementary School when a deranged gunman opened fire on December the 14th, 2012, killing 20 first graders. 2012 it happened. That's 12 years ago. So these first graders now are leaving high school. But you've got to remember, the only massacre we had, and it changed the laws in the UK forever instantly, was the Dunblane shooting, and that's where the tennis player Andy Murray was at school, and I'm pretty sure he was at school at the time as well. Which is, he's never said, but I know whenever he won a tournament or a match or something, he'd always go like that, and I thought it might be for his slain schoolmates. He's doing it for them as much as he's doing it for himself. On a completely different note, Nathan's hot dog eating contest host felt gut punched after Joey Chestnut, July the 4th decision. Joey Chestnut won't be competing in this year's Nathan's famous 4th of July hot dog eating contest, and at least one person associated with the event is sick to their stomach. George Shear, the boisterous host of the annual contest, sent Chestnut's decision to sign a deal with the Impossible Foods, which keeps him from competing in Major League eating contests, is like being punched in the stomach. I imagine eating a lot of hot dogs is being like punched in the stomach. Joey Chestnut's hot dog eating rivals heartbroken over his Nathan's ban, and it's a sad day for the world of hot dog eating. How we've gone from one level to another. I don't know which way around you'd want to go with that. Surprising news engulfed the hot dog eating world. I mean, I didn't even know there was a hot dog eating world. That's surprising news for me. Joey Chestnut, the #1 ranked eater of the world, won't be chowing down on hot dogs on July the 4th at Nathan's hot dog eating contest due to his partnership with Impossible Foods. It's an irreplaceable void. Its belly-filling competitor said, "It's a sad day to be a fan or a competitor." Jesus Christ, there are some people who've just got no lives whatsoever. A maniac hijacks Georgia commuter bus with 17 on board, fatally shoots a hostage during a wild police chase. A passenger was shot and killed after a gunman hijacked a commuter bus in downtown Atlanta, with 17 people on board, and held a gun to the bus driver's head, according to police. Atlanta police received 3 separate 911 calls beginning at 4:30 p.m. that the man was holding hostages on the Gwinnett County transit bus, and shots had been fired. I mean, tragic case, but the only I could think of was speed. George Orwell. This is America, by the way. I Told You So, 1984. George Orwell's 1984 can teach us how to fight today's totalitarians 75 years after he wrote it. Americans still read George Orwell's 1984 75 years after it was first published on June the 8th, 1949. At the time, the year 1984 was far in the future. Now it's 40 years in the past. Yet our present feels more than ever like Orwell's dystopia. I've said this many times. The novel is set on an airstrip one, a totalitarian version of what is today Britain. Its protagonist is Winston Smith. Basically, yeah, I've never read it, I've never seen the film, but I do know that we are living in 1984. If he'd have called it 2024, he would have had it bob on. He got his dates wrong by 40 years. We still have an Orwell pub in Wigan, although you can't go in it because it's currently in the rebirth of an icon that nothing's happened at for 5 years. Increasing number of migrant families being housed at Boston Logan Airport. The number of migrants being sheltered at Boston Logan Airport appears to have increased, with throngs of families lining a baggage claim surrounded by suitcases and using spare blankets for makeshift mattresses. Over 100 migrants are currently spending their night sleeping on the floor at the Boston Airport. We said before, it's the world that is suffering from this migrant epidemic, and people are being paid and paying people to come to countries to dilute the population of those countries to make it easier to control them in the future. Biden admin has released 72% of migrants who illegally crossed into San Diego despite the crackdown. Border agents have allowed 72% of migrants who illegally crossed into San Diego since the Biden administration's border crackdown to continue into the US. Out of the more than 6,800 migrants encountered by border agents in the Southern California border between June the 5th and Tuesday morning, more than 72% of them have been allowed to continue their journey into America. I mean, at least they're processing people by just going, go on then, which is, I think, what Keir Starmer's policy is going to be. Oh, you're here, you might as well stay then. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry are losing friends in Hollywood. They are dropping like flies. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are taking applications for new friends, according to Princess Diana's former butler Paul Burrell. Well, he's someone who we can trust, isn't he? The Duke and Duchess of Sussex have allegedly been losing touch with their pals in Hollywood. Harry and Meghan's circle is getting smaller and smaller, Burrell told a magazine. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry in Nigeria. Oh, that's the pictures. I think the A-list stars are trying to keep away. They don't want to get embroiled in this absolute car crash, no pun intended, of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's life. Biden awkwardly salutes Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni as he arrives at G7 summit, and she looks like she's like, what the hell is this? US President Joe Biden awkwardly saluted Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni as he arrived at the G7 summit in Italy on Thursday. Biden 81 was the last of the world leaders to arrive at the venue because he got lost. He turned left when he should have turned right. As he shuffled into the stage where Meloni was waiting, the two spoke for a few moments before Meloni pointed towards a frame of the G7 logo for them to stand in front of to get a photo. Come here, love, just stand here and smile. Pretend you're enjoying it, you know where you are. NASA accidentally broadcast simulation of distressed astronauts on space station. NASA accidentally broadcasted a simulation of astronauts being treated for decompression sickness on the International Space Station, prompting speculation of an emergency in posts on social media. The National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA, live YouTube channel broadcast audio that indicated the crew members were experiencing the effects of decompression sickness. Oops, someone pressed the wrong button, didn't they? Sandy Hook shooting survivors graduate high school without 20 of their slain classmates 12 years later. We've already covered that, but yeah. Yeah, the whole thing is just tragic, but it's American gun laws. Until they sort them out, there's not a lot we can do. Stunning Hamptons Beach ranked as one of the worst for fecal matter in nation. It's sad to see. This is America. This is not the UK. This is America. This is the wrong kind of beach bum. A dazzling Hamptons Beach, surrounded by multi-million-dollar mansions, has logged some of the worst fecal matter levels in the country. A perennial problem locals have had hard time flushing away. Mexcox Bay in Southampton last year landed top of the US beaches that tested positive for dangerous levels of enterococcosis. Or basically, you go swimming in that, you're going to have the shits for a week and a half. Probably even longer than that. Basically, don't even go on the beach in a hazmat suit. Jewish leaders call for new mask ban after explosion of anti-Semitic protests by mobs with hidden faces. It's time to unmask hate. An explosion of blatant anti-Semitism by anti-Israeli protesters in New York, nearly all of whom covered their faces to avoid being publicly identified, is leading some Jewish leaders to call for the return of the anti-mask law that was previously used to fight hoods of the Ku Klux Klan. Now, weirdly and unusually, I agree with the Israelis on this one. There's not many things I agree with. But I said, I can't remember whether I actually said it on the YouTube channel, I may or may not have done. But basically, if you believe, I know I've said it since, but this is before COVID, if you believe passionately enough to go and meet up with like-minded people and protest for your cause, whatever that be, then why are you wearing a mask? If you believe enough to go there and be part of a crowd, and you believe enough in what you're doing is for the greater good of the population, for whatever it is, whether it's being vegetarian or whether it's stopping the war in Gaza, or whether it's I don't know, getting free bus passes for school children, whatever it is, whatever you believe in, if you've gone to the effort of going somewhere to meet up with like-minded people and protest your point, then you should be banned from wearing a mask. There's no ifs or buts or wherefores, that is it. Obviously COVID completely fucked that up, but you always see, you know, when you see teenagers riding around on motorbikes with no helmets on and or just causing trouble everywhere, they've all got masks on. No, you don't wear a mask. Unless there's a medical reason for you to wear a mask, you do not wear a mask. Simple. Meanwhile, 4 Russian warships, including a nuclear sub, are now sitting 200 miles off the coast of Florida. I mean, that's over-exaggerating a little bit. I mean, they are, but they're not there. They're there for Cuba. 4 Russian warships, including a nuclear submarine, have reached Cuba just 200 miles off the coast of Florida, ahead of the planned military exercise in the Atlantic. The fleet, made up of a frigate, a nuclear-powered submarine, an oil tanker, and a rescue tug, have arrived. I mean, come on, it's hardly an invasion force, is it? Have arrived in Hanover on welcomed by a 21 cannon salute from Cuba. Yeah, I think it's we've turned up with an oil tanker. I mean, come on, an oil tanker. That's going to scare me. What are you going to do? Put an oil slick on the coast? Actually, that would be terrifying. For the sake of America, Joey Chestnut and Nathan's hot dogs must come to a peace agreement. Hot diggity dog, can we take another blow? I don't want to get that. This country was already protest weary, trial weary, and deeply divided by Team USA's Caitlin Clark snub. Then, the Post's Steve Cuzzo exclusively reported that the world champion glitzy guzzler Joey Chestnut had been bounced from the July the 4th Nathan's hot dog eating competition because he signed a deal with someone else. I mean, does anyone actually give a monkey's left dangly? Welcome back, John Higginbotham. You were in before, weren't you? Was that yesterday? Or was that before? I don't know. Were you in before? Yeah, you were in before. Now you're back. Welcome back. I was getting a bit confused. I was like, oh, was that a previous broadcast or last broadcast? Was that the broadcast before the broadcast? That was broadcasting when I was doing the broadcast. Nobody knows. Where are we up to? Where's he gone? Where's he gone? Oh, there's the boat. There we go. Biden. Biden repeatedly watched his dog attack Secret Service as staff wished each other's safe shift. President Biden repeatedly watched his German Shepherd Commander attack Secret Service members who wished each other a safe shift as the number of incidents mounted, with one exasperated workplace safety professional urging the use of a muzzle. I think Commander has been taken away now and is put somewhere else. Been watching since lockdown 2020. That was a while ago. Feels like a lifetime ago, doesn't it? Anyway, back to Australia. Sydney ranked second least affordable city in the world. Sydney has been ranked the world's second most unaffordable city, only slightly edged by Hong Kong. 4 other Australian cities also ranked in the top 20 according to the Demographia International Housing Affordability Report. I would imagine London was in there as well. I don't think Wigan was, because it's not a city. Or expensive. Richest companies in the world. Australia is convinced, or not convinced, really, which is Biden. That was a picture of the dog and Biden sat on the White House steps. Very good. They are wanting to compare everything with anything else in the world. Apple has officially regained its status as the world's most valuable company after a string of exciting announcements in less than a week. Could you guess the top 10 of biggest companies? Well, no, you only get 5. They can't be arsed giving you the top 10, so they quite literally give you the 5. Apple, number 1. Microsoft, number 2. Nvidia, no, me neither, number 3. Google, number 4. Amazon, number 5. I would have thought X, or whatever it's called, Elon Musk, would be in the top 10, but has been plummeting due to him buying X and completely fucking it over. Hashtag just saying. Met Office expert reveals exactly when UK could finally see warm weather in June. And the answer is July. No, we haven't skipped forward, it was just in the wrong place. People flock to Indian city to swallow live fish with a miracle cure for asthma. I mean, what does it do? Swim into your lungs? What? People are eating... I mean, I thought it was bad when those places popped up where you could put your feet into a fish tank and the fish would come along and eat all the skin, dead skin, not all the skin, off your feet. You know, when you get those rhinoceros heels and that kind of thing. I thought that was cruel to the fish. It was also very unhygienic, it turned out. Lots of people got foot disease from it, but anyway. But putting live only in India? I'm looking forward to summer. It's my favourite day of the year, says Alan Barton. Brilliant. Emergency crews rescued 28 people after they were stuck for about half an hour dangling upside down on a ride in a century-old amusement park. Now, the ride obviously isn't a century old, but yeah, it basically stopped upside down, which is quite frightening. Robert Irwin threatens to sue Hanson. Not the pop band, don't worry. Robert Irwin's lawyers have sent a legal letter to One Nation Australia threatening to sue for defamation over Pauline Hanson's Please Explain video published. The video, titled The State of Queensland, depicts Irwin and a cartoon character, Bluey, after the pair were unveiled as the faces of the state's new tourism campaign. So basically, she's not happy with what's going on in Queensland, so has put a new cartoon out, basically saying, explain what's going on and why it's so good when it's so not in Queensland for whatever reasons they're coming up with. Probably bad councils and that kind of thing. Meanwhile, back in America, a House passes defence bill automatically registering all men between 18 and 26 for draft. So basically, America is getting ready for war. Now, they're doing it less subtly. than Rishi did with his 18-year-olds joining the not National Guard. That would be pushing it too far, yeah. All 18-year-olds in Britain go to America and join the National Guard. But yeah, we're getting into a war footing. War is on the horizon. The House of Representatives passed a measure on Friday automatically registering men aged 18 to 26 for selective service. It was part of the annual National Defence Authorization Act, NDAA, which sets out the US government's military and national security priorities over the next fiscal year. This year's NDAA authorises $895.2 billion in military spending and a $9 billion increase from the fiscal 2024. While it hasn't been invoked in over half a century, it's mandatory for all male US citizens to register for the selective service, also known as the military draft, when they turn 18. Failure to register is classified as a felony and comes with a host of legal challenges. By using available federal databases, the Selective Service Agency will be able to register all of the individuals required and thus help ensure that any future military draft is fair and equitable. So yeah, basically, America is gearing up for war. I don't think the war will be, as I've said many times before, the Ukraine invasion has proved that feet on ground war is a thing of the past. It's all about the drones and it's all about cyber war, and that is how the next war will be fought. Anyone who presses the nuclear button is going to end the world. I don't think anyone would take that responsibility. So yeah, cyber war, and it's already happening. We've already had the NHS being targeted by external, well, not the NHS itself, but a company that works for the NHS has been targeted, which is by cyber criminals, which has messed up many people's operations and appointments, etc. So yeah, but yeah, Rishi Sunak's 18-year-olds doing some military service, only 30,000 of them though. The rest doing voluntary work, is basically warning people that we are about to go to war, but it's not going to be the old-fashioned kind of war. Prince William makes secret visit to MI6 without Kate Middleton, and no one knows why. Well, Kate Middleton is recuperating from pre-cancer treatments, so she's a bit knackered, and she was getting ready to go to the colour of the Senate, colour of the guard of the colouring guard birthday party, King Charles. Prince William made a private visit to London's MI6 headquarters, but details of his secret visit are being kept hush-hush. The Prince of Wales, 41, met with the British Secret Intelligence Service, which deals with foreign intelligence and protects the UK from espionage activities outside the UK. While royal visits to the MI6 are usually announced in advance, William's visit only came to light after it had occurred. Oh, so is Prince William being signed up? Is he the new James Bond for the next movies? Hello, my name is Bond, James Bond. New York squatter allows homeowner to take family belongings from late father's house. Well, that's big of them, isn't it? New York squatter who has been living inside a dead man's home for the last 6 years finally allowed the homeowners to collect family belongings that were left inside. Donna Kent recently gained access to her father's Staten Island home after his death in 2012, but was met with a self-aware squatter named Kyle when she arrived to claim her father's prized possessions. Anyway, the squatter has now relented and has allowed them to come in and take their father's possessions away from the house, but not the house. A myriad of people flocked to Indian City to swallow live fish with miracle cure to asthma. A mother encourages her daughter to fully open her mouth to swallow a live fish, holding the medicine she believes will help cure a child's asthma. As scores of clamour about, gulping down their own fish and hoping for the best. Each summer, on a day deemed auspicious by astrological calculations, people suffering from asthma and other respiratory ailments flock to the southern Indian city of Hyderabad. It's just vile, isn't it? It's absolutely disgusting. And what medical cure is that going to ever give anyone? Top Hamas official claims no one has any idea how many Israeli hostages are still alive. A top Hamas official claimed no one has any idea how many of the remaining 120 Israeli hostages in Gaza are still alive. Osmer Hamdan, who also addressed the recent ceasefire proposal rejected by Hamas that called for some of the hostages held by the terrorist group to be released in exchange for Palestinian prisoners in Israeli jails, during the interview with CNN. I'll be honest with you, Hamas isn't a well-organised group. It is a myriad of different, for want of a looser term, tribes or groups. So they will not have communication between them all so that know how many are still alive. Add to that the fact that Israel is carpet bombed Gaza. I mean literally carpet bombed Gaza. So they will have killed a huge amount of the prisoners of war themselves, or not prisoners of war, they're hostages. And they didn't blame Hamas for the bodies that they found recently of the hostages. So yeah, no one would know how many hostages are still alive. Hopefully a lot, but I don't know whether or not, if I was Hamas, I would actually give up the hostages. Because bearing in mind what Israel is doing to Gaza, when they've got hostages there, and they know they've got hostages there, and they've killed hostages there as well. If Hamas give up all the hostages, what's to stop Israel going even harder on Gaza? It's terrifying. I mean, Hamas should not have done what they did. I still say that they were allowed to do so by Israel, if not even helped by Israel to do so that they could do what they're doing now. But for Hamas to give up the hostages would be foolish, because they're the only bargaining chip they've got. I think Hamas should be destroyed, 100%, but not at the expense of the population of Gaza. The moment anti-Israeli protesters set fire to an American flag outside the Israeli consulate. Disturbing images and video captured the moment 3 anti-Israeli protesters ignited a pair of American flags and an Israeli flag outside the Jewish state's consulate. The American flags were nearly invisible beneath the flames as the Firebirds, one of whom has racked up several arrests over the last 2 months, stood outside the building on 2nd Avenue and East 42nd Street. Yeah. Now, here's the thing that not many people admit to. It's very difficult to set an American flag on fire. In fact, it's very difficult to set any flags on fire. Due to protests like this, flags are treated with an anti-inflammatory coating, so you cannot set them on fire. And you're like, why did you set them? Because I obviously have set American flags on fire. 2, to be precise. It was for a window display in my shop, and it was when a game called Homefront come out. And the game basically is involved that North Korea and South Korea merge to be Korea. The North Koreans then use the technology of South Korea to take over many countries, and then they're invading America, and you end up being part of the resistance. So the window display was to show American flags that had been damaged by gunshots and flames and stuff like that. And could I melt them? No. I managed to, well, no, I did manage to melt them, but I had one of them high power lighters I borrowed off someone, and it only melted it, didn't set it on fire. So yeah, they've obviously put some accelerant on that for that to happen. And to be fair, the flag underneath was probably perfectly fine afterwards. It's like, yes, you can take our, you can burn our flags, but you'll never, ever, ever destroy it. Ohioans use windblowers and snowplows to clear trillions of dead mayflies after a city is infested. Called a SWAT team, Ohioans resorted to using leaf blowers to clear swarms of mayflies that dropped dead after infesting a lakeside city. Millions, if not trillions, of the bug corpses are piling up on doorways and driveways across Port Clinton, leaving residents with little choice but to treat the creepy crawlies like fallen leaves. Yeah, the reason they've all died at the same time is because they've just realised we're already in June and the mayflies, so they've just committed Harry Carey. Or Prince Harry Carey. No? Okay, I'll get me coat. Meanwhile, dozens of hikers fall ill with stomach bug while camping near idyllic Grand Canyon waterfalls. They're not happy campers. A popular picturesque camping site surrounded by crystal clear waterfalls near the Grand Canyon transformed into a nightmarish gateway for scores of tourists who caught a severe stomach bug at the destination. Dozens of hikers at the Haspelite Reservation campsite in Arizona reported experiencing symptoms of diarrhea and vomiting. Good news is, they can just pretend they're part of the British water companies and just shitting directly in the waterfalls. No one will notice any difference. Rumours are that they had sandwiches that were imported from Britain with lettuce on. Okay, that wasn't true, but it might be. Meanwhile, Israel is winning war in Gaza. Well, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. And has plans for what happens next. I don't believe these plans at all, but they're doing a demilitarised zone. Israel wants to level half-a-mile buffer zone around the entirety of Gaza's border. This would give Israeli border guards complete visibility of an incoming force and make digging tunnels into Israel much harder, not more harder. And the Philadelphia corridor. It's an 8.7 mile long border between Gaza Strip and Egypt. Israelis uncovered roughly 50 tunnels to smuggle goods and guns in and out of Gaza via Egypt. No, it's a land grab. It's a land grab. It's all it is. It's just a land grab. Nothing else to do. It's just a land grab. Hellish New York City church demolition breaks noise rules. Works overnight without a permit. An Upper Seaside parish performed nighttime demolition work on its church without a permit as it tries to sell the property. Kalman Cheney, a lay trustee at the Church of St. Elizabeth of Hungary, and others in the neighbourhood noticed workers removing items, including religious artefacts, from the shuttered church. In addition, they said that demolition noises, so I would imagine walls being knocked down, maybe drills and that kind of thing, were going on late into the night, but there was no permit to do it that late. They're in trouble. Britain celebrates King Charles's birthday with the Trooping of the Colour. Trooping of the Colour 2024 marks the official birthday celebrations of King Charles III. Catherine, Princess of Wales, attended the event despite being in the midst of her cancer treatment. The annual event features a grand military parade showcasing regiments of the British Army's Household Division of the Horse Guards Parade near Buckingham Palace in London. It is spectacular. Obviously I don't watch it because, it's not my thing, but, I imagine the foreigners, the Yanks and all that, I think it's really fabulous, but they're obsessed with the Windsors. Cheeky Prince Louis pulled faces, showed off his dance moves as he joined Prince George and Princess Charlotte at Trooping of the Colour. Kate Middleton made her first public appearance in almost 6 months at Trooping the Colour, but it was also the first time her 3 children had been seen since last Christmas. Prince George 10, Princess Charlotte 9 and Prince Louis 6 accompanying the Princess of Wales on the journey. And don't they look smart? I mean, one thinks they're not really having a childhood, but I think with William and Kate, I think they are having a childhood. They are doing childhood things that kids do, but they're just not doing it as publicly. So yeah. Tupperware shuts down only remaining US plant and moves manufacturing to Mexico as over 100 workers are laid off. Tupperware? Is that even a thing anymore? Well, apparently it is. Who nude? Who was nude? No, I mean, who nude? Not who was nude. No one was nude. Pope Francis becomes first first pontiff to address the G7 summit, raising alarm about AI. So him being there raised the alarm about... No, he was raising the alarm about AI. Pope Francis challenged leaders of the world's wealthy democracies to keep human dignity foremost in developing and using artificial intelligence, warning that such powerful technology risks turning human relations themselves into mere algorithms. France has brought its moral authority to bear on the group of 7 invited by host Italy to address a special session at their annual summit. So yeah, the Pope met people who are not even remotely religious, although obviously our Prime Minister is, although he's Hindu. 28 people rescued after Oregon amusement park ride malfunctions, strangling them upside down for half an hour. Dozens of riders got trapped upside down for half an hour on a popular thrill ride at Portland or amusement park. But riders said it felt like hours. It would do. The Atmosphere ride at Oaks Park malfunctioned around 2:55 p.m, stranding 28 riders with their legs facing the sky. The park initiated its emergency procedure, which and called 911. I think that is their emergency procedure. Call 911. Yeah, but half an hour being upside down, that's no fun for anyone. Joe Biden is healthy-wise, despite wandering off at G7 summit, Jill insists, his wife. Joe Biden is ready, willing and able to handle a second term as president, his wife insisted. Despite the 81-year-old chief executive freezing up during a Juneteenth celebration and wandering away from G7 leaders at a summit in Italy. We can't wake up on November the 6th like we did in 2016, terrified of the future ahead of us, Jill Biden told a crowd of seniors at a Reno, Nevada pep rally. Well, to be fair, she's not wrong. And is that Will I Am there in that picture to the left, right even? Left of Biden, right of the picture. Surely he can't support Biden. But no, it is cruel what they are doing to Biden, making him, be president. It's not right. Teen killed, another critically hurt in separate New York City subway surfing stunts gone wrong. A 13-year-old boy was killed and an older teen was critically injured in separate subway surfing mishaps. Mishaps? Someone died in the Bronx. The latest victim of the troublesome trend, according to police and sources. The youngster teen fell off a northbound 6 train between the Westchester Square and Middleton Roads stations in Pelham just before 9 a.m. Yeah, it's... I mean, how do you... You think you're invincible, don't you, when you're 13, 14? You think you're all grown up, you can take on the world, you can beat anyone, you can do anything you want. But we're hearing too many times of children, particularly in America, particularly in New York, dying from this horrendous idea of standing on top of a train. Rainy weather brings toxic cane toads. How to keep your pets safe from the lethal invaders. An alligator might eat your pet, but there's a much sneakier predator lurking out there, waiting to harm your furriest family member. If you live in waterlogged southern Florida, that is, particularly during the rainy season, four-legged friends in the Sunshine State are under threat from an invasive species known as the cane toad, which can kill a small animal in just minutes, just by sitting there. So if they get licked or touched by a pet, it will kill them. Lovely. Andrew Cuomo is still fibbing about his deadly COVID nursing home order. 4 years after ordering COVID-positive patients into New York nursing homes, Andrew Cuomo's excuse for that fateful mistake has gotten older, but no better. He's still relying on arguments that were long ago debunked. He is still trying to blame anyone but himself, and he's still trying to minimise on how many people died. You've got to remember that COVID was a worldwide thing, and everyone goes on about the UK government sending people back into care homes who, to be fair, weren't necessarily positive, hadn't been tested, and then infecting the care homes. And in America, I'd say these things happened all over the world. It's not just the British government that's rubbish, it's all the governments that are rubbish, unless of course it was a scheme in order to get rid of the older population so we can save money on healthcare. Didn't work, did it? Trump marked 78th birthday by campaigning close to home. Former President Donald Trump will celebrate his birthday in West Palm Beach, Florida, not far from his Mar-a-Lago resort, with some of his most fervent supporters. The presumptive Republican nominee for president, now 78, will address members of his Club 47 fan group at a sold-out birthday bash in the Palm Beach County Convention Center. Trump was born on Flag Day. Was he? Was he really though? Was he? Well, yeah, he was. If Flag Day was the day that was published on, he was born on Flag Day. Biden, he was born in God knows where. Democrats' denialism of Biden's cognitive decline isn't just unconvincing; it is cruel. Enough denialism. Democrats and their media enablers need to face the facts on President Biden's cognitive decline after it's been reported on Biden wandering away from a pack of G7 leaders watching the parachuting demonstration. The White House jumped into the fake news mode. Deputy Press Secretary Andrew Bates called it a lie. Came in the press was just saying congratulations to one of the divers. It's politics. What is wrong with the world's politics? Seriously. It is utterly cruel to America and to Joe Biden to let him run in this state. Every day it seems the President of the United States wanders off during a photo shoot or tries to shake hands with an imaginary person or gobbles his way through another speech, and the rest of us are expected to go on with our day as if everything is just fine. It is not fine. He's not fine. And no, it isn't about Joe Biden's long-time propensity to lose his temper or his alleged lifelong stutter. It isn't. It's really, really worrying that he's being pushed into running for president again. German police shoot man allegedly threatening them with an axe in Euro 2024 host city Hamburg. German police said today they shot and wounded a man who was threatening them with an axe and a Molotov cocktail in the northern city of Hamburg, hours before it hosted a match in the European Championship soccer tournament. Police officers opened fire at the man as the man refused to put down the axe and the Molotov cocktail, hit him in the leg. They didn't kill him, they then arrested him. He'll be in a care home soon. I hope he is, for his own sake and the sake of the world. It's a shame, it really is a shame. IDF promises to pause daytime fighting to allow humanitarian aid deliveries, allegedly. Israel's military announced on Sunday it will pause fighting during daytime hours along a route in southern Gaza to free up a backlog of humanitarian aid deliveries for desperate Palestinians enduring humanitarian crisis sparked by the war, which is now in its 9th month. The tactical pause, which applies to about 12 kilometres, 7.4 miles of road in the Rafah areas, falls short of a complete ceasefire, and they are still going to be at war in Rafah itself. Doom Titan submersible captain will be remembered as a maverick in the worst kind of way, at the anniversary of its loss. The captain of the ill-fated Titan submersible, Stockton Rush, was a maverick of the worst kind of way, according to one of his peers. Undersea exploration expert Robert McCallum said the implosion of the craft and the loss of 5 lives while visiting the famed 1912 wreck 10,000 feet below the surface of the Antarctic was entirely unavoidable. If it wasn't for the captain's arrogance, the disaster would not have happened. And again, getting on for a year ago now, that happened. Wow. Prince Harry regrets missing Trooping the Colour. Meghan Markle indifferent about it, says a royal expert. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle feel differently about missing the 2024 Trooping of the Colour events. The couple were snubbed from the annual military parade that celebrates King Charles III's birthday for the 2nd year in a row, and royal expert Richard Fitzwilliam told The Sun that Harry regrets not taking part in the ceremony. He wants to be involved when it's military matters because he was a bit of a hero in the Gulf War, even though it was illegal. Kate Middleton shares touching photo she took of family to wish William a happy Father's Day. Kate Middleton today shared a heartfelt photograph she took of Prince William with kids Prince George, Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis to celebrate Father's Day. She continued the battle of cancer. We love you, Papa. Happy Father's Day. GCNL read the Princess of Wales caption on the couple's official social media account. To me, was I reading this wrong? That looks like looking into the distance, looking into the past, like a goodbye photo. I hope I'm wrong, but that doesn't look like a celebration of Father's Day. That looks more like a memorial photograph of someone who's no longer here. And yeah, that is, if I'm right, that's incredibly sad. Gentlemen, I'm going to bed now. I have to go up early in the morning to get my mother-in-law. Have a good week. Please stay safe out there. See you all on Tuesday. Thank you, Angela. Yeah, you take care. Thank you. I will see you on Tuesday. Well, I won't, but other people may do on Tuesday. At least 5 shot at Michigan Water Park in active shooter situation. At least 5 people were shot at a splash pad in Michigan in an active shooter situation, according to local police. Gunfire erupted at the Brooklands Plaza splash pad in Rochester Hills, about 28 miles downtown from downtown Detroit. Can I say it? Everyone's night, John boy. And that brings us to the news that makes you go, oh, really? Ah. It does. That's what it does. Just wait for him to say goodbye. Good night to everyone else. That's nice. A little fart while I'm about. Dum-de-dum-de-dum. Right, I think we're all settled down now, so we will now crack on with the next part of this show. And this is the news that makes you go, or whatever. Absolutely disgusting if you go to use the bathroom and a vegan has left a floater. And it's just a picture of a leaf in a toilet bowl floating. Banksy picture. We like a good Banksy. I like a good Banksy anyway. And it's basically, what was it, Dismal Land that he set up a few years ago. Which I thought was very good, very clever. I didn't go, obviously. Michael Mosley died of heat exhaustion in the 40-degree heat yards away from a resort, say the police. The results of the autopsy on Dr. Michael Mosley's body were revealed days after he was found to have died after walking across a Greek island of Simi in a searing heat of 40 degrees. You'd think as a doctor he would know better than that, wouldn't you? A mystery orange creature pulled from the water, leaving locals baffled. Commentators on the internet had a lot of fun trying to figure out what it was, with the suggestions ranging from a rather rude innuendo to suggesting it may be a form of sea cucumber. You know what I think it is? It looks like one of them sea monkey things. You know them things that you can get when you're a kid. And you have a little tub and you put this powder in and these little things float around. And yeah, one of them that's been set free and it's just grown in the sea to a large size. Problem solved. Next, North Korea swaps poo balloons for loudspeakers in Cold War style mental warfare. The influential sister of North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un said, "I sternly warn Seoul to immediately cease its dangerous activities that would further propagate a crisis of confrontation." I suppose it would be a crisis of confrontation, wouldn't it? I suppose if there's a confrontation, it'd be a crisis. A mysterious 7-foot sea monster washed up on beach, finally identified by scientists. The fish was identified as the sunfish family by New Zealand scientists after images of the behemoth flooded social media and was dubbed a new species hiding in plain sight. Yeah, but think rightly, I think they swim sideways or something. They're a bit weird, but yeah, it's been identified. What a tit. Daft tit gets stuck inside bird feeder, leaving gardeners confused. Reddit users have reacted in hysterics after a blue tit became trapped inside a bird feeder, with some joking it would have to eat itself through the seas to freedom. Well, that's not really a joke, is it? That's a geeky thing to say. That's why I don't do Reddit. Worm frozen for 46,000 years brought back to life. Then it starts having babies. Welcome to the end of the world. The worm is thought to be possibly belong to a species that went extinct some 50,000 years ago, and when it was revived, it is understood to have given birth without needing a mate. Well, the chances of finding a mate are quite unlikely, but yeah, let's bring species back to life that haven't been on planet Earth for 50,000 years. What could go wrong? England stars avoid getting their tackles out despite plush hotels' nudity rule. Guests at the swanky Veerman Land Spa and Golf Resort usually have to strip to the buff to make use of the spa, steam room and plunge pool, but a special exemption has been made for England's Euro 2024 aces. Now, I was in a hotel years ago in, where was it? Southern Islands. I can't remember what it's called now. And it wasn't overly posh, but it was posh. And they had a steam room, and I like steam rooms, but it said no clothes allowed in the steam room. And I was like, ooh, not sure about that. But then I thought, I'm in Ireland. No one knows me. I didn't have a YouTube channel. I wasn't famous. So I went for it. And yeah, I've never felt so intimidated in my entire life. Let's put it this way. Irish blokes, they are quite, yeah, impressive. Unlike little old me, literally. But yeah, that was the only experience I've had of that. It was, yeah, I didn't go again. I did not go in that room again. Oh, all the memories coming back. Oh dear. Baby's arms everywhere. Horrible. A new species of flying dinosaur discovered as fearsome predator lived in England. The bones unearthed in Western Queensland by museum creator Kevin Peterson in 2021 have been found to belong to a newly identified species of Pterosaurus that lived some 100 million years ago. So they're going to bring it back to life and see if it can destroy the planet. No, they're not, thank God. Hello. My penis froze solid during the Olympics. The pain was unbearable. It was the Winter Olympics and I was watching it in the garden. And I thought I was reenacting me being in that hotel hot room sauna thing. So yeah. No, it wasn't me. It was Remy Lundholm. And he's detailed how his penis froze on 2 separate occasions whilst taking to the slopes. One such instance occurred during the 2022 Winter Olympics. Now, I'm not an expert on these things, but one would have thought that it would be, temperature does affect things, and it would be fairly close to the body, and you're in a suit, and that area does get a bit sweaty even when you're cold. So I don't know how it would freeze solid. Maybe he just got a bit excited and mistook it for what. Anyway, never mind. Summer isn't here, as Met Office says temperatures down 50% and they're not changing soon. The weather hasn't been terrible by any means, but certainly hasn't been balmy. No, it's been terrible. The weather has been shockingly bad. You can't dress it up any other way, shape or form. But there's a very high possibility of July mega heat wave sending temperatures above 35 degrees. We've heard that since before Christmas, and we're still waiting for it. We've had about 3 days where it's been hot. Star Wars sick deleted scene that had people refusing to believe it's real. Ever since it burst onto the screens in 1977, Star Wars has spawned multiple movies, TV series, graphic novels and video games, but not all the scenes made it to the final cut, and that is an excerpt from one of the scenes that didn't make it to the final cut, and it looks like something out of a really cheap horror movie. I went to see the first film in 1977. I thought it was awful. Never watched any other thing to do with Star Wars since, although I've played a few games because I like the universe, I just don't like the stories. I'm from Wigan Me posted recently. Devon and Cornwall have cancelled their planned joint 60s and 70s retro music festival after a row over whether to put the jam or cream on first. That's a very intelligent joke. Devon and Cornwall, scones. Jam with cream on first. Jam, 70s, 80s band. Cream, 70s band. Gig. No. Okay. I thought it was funny. The German town of Limburg has voted 53% in favour of killing off its plague of hundreds of pigeons. Now all they need is a 14th century woodwind play to lure them to their doom. I mean, in Wigan, a few years ago, they had these cages, and they humanely caught the pigeons in these cages by putting food in there, and they'd go in but couldn't get out, and then they took them away and killed them. Has it solved the problem of pigeons in Wigan? No, of course it hasn't. The pigeons in the park just moved to Wigan, because all of a sudden the area where there was lots of food was suddenly vacant because the pigeons had gone. And then other pigeons that didn't move in the park moved into the park. Yeah. Things have moved on. This is a stream of photographs you will not believe. Beauty pageant queens from the past century. To be fair, they're all from 1954 or thereabouts. Check out these fun and weird beauty pageant queens from the 20th century, 1950s. So this is Catfish Queen, and it's a picture of a woman in a very skimpy dress, could be a bathing suit, holding a massive catfish whilst on the top of a skyscraper in New York. Anyway, she was Catfish Queen of 1954. It gets worse. You know, talk about frozen penises before. Sausage Queen, 1955. So it's a woman in a kind of bra thing, with a sausage scarf. Yes, it's a scarf made out of sausages. A hat with sausages on it, and what looks like a grass skirt made out of sausages. Rollaway is still around. Sausages. With a bangle that looks like a snake made from a sausage. So yeah, hiya Alan, good night Alan, see you later. It gets worse, it does get worse. Did you ever know there was a Miss Magic marker? And someone's written MM on her upper chest. Miss Magic marker, 1954. Wow. It gets worse. Nope, it does actually get worse. Posture Queen. And she stood there with a International Posture Queen 1957 banner on her, looking at an X-ray of her back. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think there's much posture going on there. It looks like she's got curvature of the spine, but it was 1950s. And then finally, bearing in mind this is after World War II, Miss Atomic Bomb, 1957. And it's a woman there looking very happy with herself, with what looks like a woolen recreation of an atomic bomb that goes from her neck to just below her waist. Yeah, thank God we've moved on from those times. But cosplay, some cosplay is really crap. You know, you see someone who's 3'2" dressed as Batman, or you see someone who's 180 stone dressed as Spider-Man with no padding in a certain area, and you're like, no, this is just wrong at many levels. This, however, is fantastic. Conker from Conker's Bad Fur Day, and that is absolute genius cosplay. You can imagine it's a nightmare to wear, but it is incredibly good, and I do like that one a lot. Meanwhile, back to the archive, an Angus sprinkler alarm doubling in as an egg in an ovary with little sperms trying to get into it. Beautiful. Roy Keane's trousers are ridiculous, and this is a shot taken from the current European Championship which is going on, and yeah, It's the flag of Germany and Scotland, which are draped really limply on a screen on the front of a desk, and Roy Keane is stood behind it, and it does look like a little bit like he's got pants on that are the German flag for one leg and the Scottish flag for the other leg. Another Banksy, and this is a rat at the wall in Israel, holding, it's a painting of a rat, not an actual rat, holding a catapult. Now, do you feel old? How's about this? 1997, The Verve released Bittersweet Symphony. 1997. 1997. 27 years ago, The Verve released Bittersweet Symphony. Now do you feel old? I know I do. Jeez. Mind you, I am, so that's fine. James Whale slams Surrey police after they used a car to hit a cow twice. You are a disgusting member of the human race. Whoever did this must be sacked, says James Whale. I don't agree with James Whale a lot, but I do on this occasion. There's still, from the image at the bottom, which hopefully you can see. Yes, you can see. The cow is actually underneath the police car. It is, you can see its legs sticking out by the wheel that you can see at the front, and its head was under. But it somehow managed to get out. I don't know whether the police car reversed or whether it got out itself and then kind of stagger around a bit. But it had already been hit and pushed somewhere in the region of 20-30 yards with the first hit from the police car, and this was the second hit from the police car. And it's just like absolutely disgusting what the police think they can do. Brits use hot water bottles and electric blankets in summer as temperatures fall to 7 degrees. This time last year the country was basking in a heatwave with temperatures soaring in the mid-30s. The mercury even hit a sweltering 32 in London on June the 11th last year. Thermometers hit just 7 degrees overnight in Edinburgh. It has been freezing, I'll be honest with you. I am absolutely frozen, a bit nippy in here. Star Trek legend William Shatner does not have a friend left and will die alone. Speaking about his life now, the 93-year-old actor who starred as Captain James T. Kirk in the original 60 Star Trek series and 7 Star Trek movies said he doesn't have a single pal, mainly because all his friends have died already and he's the last one. He'll have family, I would assume, but nothing else. I had the heating on. I was so close to putting the heating on, Dream. Literally, I was about that far away from putting the heating on, but I resisted. Putin bans Russian sex doll race as dictator clamps down on debauchery. Russian despot Vladimir Putin continues efforts to bring back traditional values as he stamps down on a bizarre annual race and the highlight of the summer, which sees competitors ride rapids on sex dolls. Seems innocent enough to me. I was only jealous because it's not him. Dad takes kid out of school for Scotland in Euro 2024 educational trip, in quotation marks. Tartan Army is out in full force in Germany, and among them are a father and son who have gone viral for their incredible on-the-nose absence note to the little lad's school. Now, it doesn't look like a little lad to me. He's not a toddler. He looks about maybe 8, 9, 10. But yeah, took him to Scotland on an educational thing, so they can't do him for bunking school. It's quite clever, I'll give him that. Indian Nostradamus names date World War III will start, and it's just days away. Kushal Kumar recently made a sobering claim that World War III is just days away, as he returned to looking at the stars to double down on his prediction. So if it does happen, you know who to blame. Well, it's not him, it's everyone else. Or it could be this guy. Putin to close prisons as Ukraine invasion causes inmate population to shrink. The Russian prison population has decreased by 20% in the last year as tens of thousands of conscripted convict mercenaries recruited to fight in Ukraine have been killed or seriously wounded. Now, here's a thought. Why don't we send our overcrowded prison population to fill up them spaces? Genius. You can thank me later, folks. Big cats are already everywhere in the UK and they're here to stay. Paul MacDonald of the Scottish Big Cat Research Team said a database of sighting is kept under wraps to protect the creatures from being disturbed or hunted, or even people knowing there's 4 of them, and that's it. Randy Brits cursed delivery drivers for disturbing their mid-morning romps. Fed up Brits are getting fed up, their steamer sessions being interrupted mid-romp as delivery drivers and phone calls become an annoying turn off for bedroom action. I was a satellite installer and I went to a house on a busy street in Blackburn, on the outskirts of Blackburn, and I knocked on the door, dunk, 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 like that, and there's nothing that happens, and then I knocked again, dunk, 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 thinking have I got the wrong house. The door's open, there's a 20-something-year-old guy there wearing nothing but a pair of quite baggy pants, as in underwear, which were moist in a certain genital area. And I kind of looked at him, and I looked down there, and I looked up again, and I went, Sky, I can come back later if you want. And he went, no, come in, I've been waiting for you. I went into the living room, terraced house, and there was a woman who was obviously naked underneath a quilt in the middle of the living room. I've never installed Sky as fast in my life. I want to get out of there absolutely as quickly as possible. I didn't move. In fact, he got back in with her while I was there. Although I was outside most of the time. But yeah, then you wonder why I give up the job. AI to go barking mad, as latest breakthrough could help us work out what dogs say. Absolute nonsense. We could soon understand why dogs are going barking mad, as artificial intelligence may soon be able to work out exactly what our furry little friends are trying to tell us. Well, I know what my cat's trying to tell me, and she only meows. I know if she wants to go out, I know if she wants food, I know if she's not happy with whatever, and I certainly know when she's not happy with me for being late from work or something. So yeah, we don't need AI for that. Thorpe Park roller coaster breaks with people stuck at top in horror incident. The ride, touted as the fastest and tallest in the UK, has been closed and the surrounding area evacuated while staff and experts work to free those trapped on this popular attraction. One would imagine they would get them out and walk them down the stairs, but it'd be pretty terrifying. Ooh. Ooh. I realised I caught 2 ghosts on camera when looking back at holiday snaps, says a liar. Says a woman. She reckons she managed to catch 2 ghosts on camera while taking photographs of a hotel while on holiday, and she only noticed the spooky details when she was back home. Now, why would you take a picture of a staircase with no one on it? Case closed. Thank you. Construction workers abuses 1,000-year-old remains found at new hotel site. A councillor and local museum have slammed the person behind the video who wobbles the tooth of the ancient remains that are on the process of being excavated from Dublin. Alright, I should have read that more. It's hardly the crime of the century, is it? I mean, it's disrespectful, but you know, it could have been a lot worse. British Army veteran visits haunted jail and captures image of dead prisoner. Kyle Thompson from South Yorkshire is part of the collective The Other Side, who claim to have found a dead prisoner's ghost in Scotland's most haunted jail. Except of course he hasn't, because ghosts don't exist. It's true, they don't exist. Anyway, that brings us to a breaking news. The news that is breaking. This is breaking news. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. News that is breaking. Breaking news. News that is breaking. Rain is coming, apparently. That's what it says on my screen, anyway. Greater Manchester town, where a 5-minute journey can take half an hour. Well, I can think of 3 of them off the top of my head. I'm a Celebrity Star broke down in Sainsbury's over stress of being a first-time dad. Doctor explains the important reason why you should never just cut the mould off your bread. Okay. We do it on cheese though, don't we? I remember doing it on cheese. Some older TVs will no longer support Netflix from July. What do you class as an old TV? What you can do to keep watching? Well, you just go on the internet. 60s pop icon and actress dies aged 80. how to check if your car will be charged in the clean air zone. I've got more on that and on a vlog. Every key name that appears in the King's birthday is on a list. Well, I wasn't on it. Hundreds of Scottish churches put on the market in painful fire sale. Grenfell Tower has been lit up for the anniversary of the horrendous fire. It's still there as well. I don't care about that. Don't care about that. 2 men arrested after boy 16 died after being hit by a falling tree. Okay. Labour signals closer UK-EU trade ties as Sunak returns to the campaign trail. Islamic State prisoners liquidated as Russian authorities end jail siege. Let's go back to that other one I was reading. George, Charlotte and Louis issue first ever royal statement with new Father's Day photo. Well, it's not the first ever royal statement, is it? It's the first one they've made. It's not the first one ever. That is a lie. What are you doing? Come on, keep up with me. Thank you. Cheadle train station construction to begin soon. Why does it keep going off? Mancunian Way, the new Berlin. Okay, don't know about that. Daleks Then and Now. Doctor Who, what is going on with Doctor Who? Although this last episode was actually quite good. Election campaign, day 25. Labour warn against complacency as tax clash continues. Dum-de-dum-de-dum. England's top private schools came down to 38,000 acres of land. How the Duchess of Edinburgh mastered the royal art of diplomatic dressing. Erik ten Hag secures new job after Man United manager decision confirmed. It's all football stuff, which I'm not really interested in. And the greatest theme park rides in the world are based on movies, apparently. Yeah, that's it. Third UK sandwich maker recalls product saying it's a precaution. Lawyers take Lord Chancellor to High Court over legal aid fees. Is that it? A lot of Doctor Who stuff going on. No, I think that's it. Oh, and some football match has been won by a team, 1-0. Reform releasing contract mon. Looks like they're cutting business rates for small, mid-high street stores. I'm going to do a collection of opinions on the elections, manifestos, over the next few days, even day. So yeah, I will put mine forward, and I'll also say who I think has got the best policies for me. But it'll be interesting to see whom that is. Anyway, that is it. Thank you very much. Still on. Big shout out to everyone who's joined in. It's a bit late. It's nearly 20 to 1. So Alan Barton, who's in bed, Dream Frequency, Angelo Kane, who's in bed. Not with Alan. I don't think so. I don't know. John Higginbotham, Stephen LFC, Kelly and Rollo. Yeah. Average duration is 11 minutes 44 seconds. We've had 34 views. We've only got one viewer left, so I assume that's you during frequency. RT, if you're still up. But yeah, 4 likes. So thank you very much for watching Video Juice Still Are. All being well, I will see you again next time. So yes, I'll be seeing you. Until then, I have to write a 550 word column. Bye.